Chair right now. We got the round ready for you guys, so we'll see you over there. All right, so we got Andrew Beckstrom on the left here, Jordan Hawker on the right. And looks like they're ready to go. Looks like Andrew has a land in play, so no waiting here today.
I was mentioning earlier, Andrew's on a really different list of Dark Jeskai than normal. He's got Monastery Mentor, he's got Dures's Main, 3 Painful Truths, Treasure Cruise. So he's opted for a different strategy here. Pretty slow start. We actually didn't see
the old turn 2 hangerback walker,
which is immediately going to eat that Fiery Impulse.
No, we'll have none of that, Andrew says.
Of course, Jordan there is going to get his hangerback token. Andrew opted not to pop off that fetch end of turn. That might signal that he's, looking for some more lands.
He just literally tossed that token at Andrew. He's like, listen, I'm going to throw this at your face right now.
It does fly. And
it was a little foreshadowing of the game ahead.
Makes sense. All right, Andrew's going to play that Wooded Foothills, which actually another fetch land that you don't normally see in the Dark Jeskai lists, but he's going to pop both the Flooded and the Wooded, save some time.
Yeah, because the deck has no green in it typically, so, having a fetch land that searches for half of a color you're not even playing is interesting.
Yeah.
And this is also interesting because it doesn't let him play Mantis Rider. But, Andrew knows what he's doing, so maybe he's not going to... Oh, just the Painful Truths for draw 3 cards. That's actually very sweet.
We've seen Painful Truths make its way into Legacy, actually, as of late, which is kind of funny. But Andrew's just going to go draw some cards,
yeah,
pass the turn.
We were just talking about Patrick Chapin playing Painful Truths in Legacy earlier. So, I feel like if it's good enough for Legacy, it's good enough for Standard.
Jordan with the... perfect play. You always want to have that Knight of the Wood Orchid trigger.
Oh, man, that guy's so good when he does trigger. And then Jordan still gets to play a 4th land this turn.
Correct, yeah.
That's basically a Rampant Growth. That can attack for 2 and has first strike. And the land comes into play untapped. But otherwise, exactly the same.
Going from the draw to the play. And remember, that land is untapped, like you said, so wow.
Relevant. Also, yeah, Knight of the Wood Orchid can also get things like Prairie Stream, could it not?
Double check that, but I think it's only a basic plains for Knight of the Orchid.
That would be crazy.
Yeah. Oh, it is any plains. Okay.
Search for a plains card. Put it on the battlefield. You can get a Tundra if you wanted to.
Fortunately, that is not legal in this
format.
Not
in Standard,
Prairie Stream, but... All right, Sunken Hollow, the follow-up, followed by Mastery of the Unseen for Jordan. Main deck Mastery is quite nice. I think that card is really good against a lot of the decks, and Andrew's already facing down a lot of trouble.
There's certain decks that just can't deal with it.
All right, Andrew, I see a Crackling Doom in his hand. Looks like he's going to lead with the Duress here.
That seems safer. Oh, and but it's basically a Gataxian Probe that does not let you draw a card here.
True.
That is unfortunate. That is the worst. Oh, that's just the worst feeling when you Duress and you don't hit anything.
Duress, of course, cannot hit creatures or lands, so he's just going to be able to...
Especially because those are 2 very good creatures as well.
Yep.
It's not looking good for Andrew as far as I can tell.
Well, he does have that blue source, which comes into play untapped. Yeah.
So he does have Crackling Doom mana up, but... doesn't really do that much against a Wingmate Rock. If Jordan does play an Archangel of Tides, that's actually pretty good. I wouldn't mind getting rid of an Archangel of Tides here, but,
The thing is, Wingmate Rock is so good versus the Dark Jeskai list.
Yes.
And with Andrew not on 4 mana, Jordan knows he can't have that Ojutai's command open.
Yeah, and even if he did, he's not going to be able to get a creature back. He would just draw a card, which is good, but, the fact that you can't do it, it makes it pretty moot.
He might even gain 4 life if he had the option to do that, but of course he doesn't.
Oh, man. Jordan, you just have to play the Wingmate Rock here, right?
I would imagine so. With only 3 mana, it's the same.
There's no real counterspell other than Disdainful Stroke, and that's not very commonly played.
At least not in the main
deck.
It looks like he's just passing, though.
That doesn't make sense to me. That's Wingmate Rock territory.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so wow. That's. You can tell he's going in on the Master of the Unseen plan here, but you can put 2, 3, 4 flyers into play. I think you just do that.
Yeah, and maybe Jordan doesn't realize Andrew is on Dark Jeskai, or would you assume that he is by this point?
As long as I see the Sunken Ruins, a plains, and a mountain, I think it's hard to make a different assumption.
So you like going wider with the Wingmate Rock there instead of just activating the Mastery?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. At least that's my preference. Because it gives you Crackling Doom protection in the sense that you're still going to have a 3/4 flyer, a 2/2, and a 1/1.
Yep.
Whereas now he just has a 2/2, which actually gives Andrew a lot of time.
I completely agree. And now we're going to see Andrew cast that Treasure Cruise. He has 2 of them in his main deck. Again, a little bit different take on the Dark Jeskai list from other people. He's actually running Shambling Vents too, so...
This is... I want to say greedy, but in a good way. I'm a fan of a greedy deck. And Andrew has like, he's drawn 6 extra cards at least this game from Treasure Cruise and Painful Truths.
Yeah.
So.
And again, only facing down that Thopter until the Mastery end of turn here.
Do you remember when Treasure Cruise was able to be played in other formats than Standard? Those are good days.
I still like to play it in other formats.
Oh, I just don't tell anyone. Isn't that card banned? No, it's fine. Don't get a judge. Just keep playing.
All right, Andrew leaving up 4 mana again, or actually 4 mana this time as opposed to 3. Jordan cracking in for 3. Andrew already on 7 life.
See, the other reason I would have gotten the Wingmate Rock in there is because it might be your one turn to get under the Ojutai's command that might be lurking in the shadows.
Jordan doing a quick reading of his manifest card there. We'll see if he opts to take the same line. What would you do here? If he opted just to Mastery last turn, would you think he'd do the same thing
I feel
here?
like he has to, because now you're just in a worse position.
Sure.
But hitting Mastery with Utter End is just very good, I think.
Jordan going to activate that in response since that was his entire game plan.
And like the Dark Jeskai decks, they don't really have sweepers, right? There's no like planar outburst or anything like that, right?
Not in the main deck, no. Sometimes have Radiant Flames or something from the board.
So I can see him trying to avoid that, but it doesn't really make sense because it's not a very commonly played card in these main decks. And the other thing is like, you could get around Radiant Flames even better by playing Wingmate Rock.
Andrew's going to lead out with a Soulfire Grandmaster here, and
he might need the lifelink more than anything.
Yeah, still leaving up 4 mana, the important amount of mana to leave up.
It would have been better if he had a 5th mana, because then he could potentially Fiery Impulse and buy it back.
Sure.
Which would be very good. Then you start the life gain train rolling.
Yeah, he's actually running 4 of them in his main deck, which is a little bit different again. Usually they run some combination of Wild Slash.
Oh, Gideon making an emblem. That's Brutes O'Toots right there.
What was it again?
Brutes O'Toots, my friend.
All right.
What do you even do? That's rough. Yeah, I'll just jump block. I mean, if Andrew did have a sweeper, like this would be a great time to either draw it or use it because, well, you know, you're going to prevent Andrew from Jordan from raiding anytime soon. Oh God, I feel like this is a concession. This is the let me see your hand before I scoop.
Duress from Andrew, revealing nothing but creatures and unduressable cards. And he's going to pick up
the courtesy reveal before before scoopage.
So if you look at the sideboard from these players, what kind of things can we see? And we can also go to the second match too behind them. It looks like there's playing.
Still some action.
Yeah. And that's between Stefan Propson and Jason.
Aaron Lewis.
Aaron Lewis,
you
I'm sorry.
Made up a name.
Well, didn't
and
make it
Timothy, you're right. You did not make up the name, Jason. That's fair.
So Aaron Lewis on the left here with a Tarka Red versus Stefan Propson running green-white Eldrazi, like you mentioned.
Look at that Jotty offshoot.
So obviously on game 2 then, because all the offshoots are in the sideboard. Yeah. So I'll have to see what happens here. Remember, Jotty offshoot only an 0-3.
Only, he says.
Only.
Hey, buddy. That's offshootist.
I'm sorry. Lightning Berserker looks like it got in for 3 there.
You know, yeah, it's like, you can block if you want to.
And there's that Foundry of the consoles we were talking about earlier. Try to life shoot triggering. Gonna give some Stefan Tim some life.
This does not look like a great hand for Steven.
What can you? Oh, I see a lot of Ulamogs and Ugins. Maybe a little bit heavy.
Yeah, it looks like two Ulamogs and Ugin. It doesn't look like there's any actual ramp in his hand.
Sure.
Which is more evident by him passing. Yeah, it's like 2 Ugins, 2 Ulamogs, and a Foundry and a Forest.
It looks like Aaron's just content attacking with his Lightning Berserker and pumping it every turn.
I mean, sometimes that gets the job done.
Especially if the opponent's unwilling to ever do anything.
Right, like if you have an 0-3 and you just insist on not blocking, like, well, I'll just keep attacking then. Even if he does block. Lightning Berserker don't care.
Yeah, he hasn't drawn any of his important ramp pieces. He has 4 Explosive Vegetation, 2 Hedron Archive, 3 Nissa's Pilgrimage.
It's gone. That was the end.
Right,
well, he's like, I've had enough.
So, since Aaron hasn't been playing anything, that actually stymies him from doing too much. It forces him to pump 2 to kill the Jotty, which is nice.
I wonder why. Do you think that was the turn that you want to block, or can you just wait it out a little bit longer?
Versus a Tarka Red, I mean, most of their things cost 2 or less anyway, so I figure Aaron could have probably already cast them. But
I just feel like the longer you wait, the more damage you're going to prevent, though, right? Like next turn you prevent 1 more, next turn you prevent 1 more. So, I mean, at 16 you're in no danger of. I want to say you're no danger of dying, but you're in just as much danger the next turn. If he has become immense Team or Battle Rage, you're probably just dead, right? It's real hard to avoid that.
Yeah, that's something that Stefan has to be considering, but of course we see Aaron doesn't have either in those in his hand. Steven, sorry.
By itself, like without any pumpage, it's going to deal 14. So that's pretty good.
It's great when a 1-drop can do well. Let's see.
I played against this deck on Thursday, and I was at 18.
Okay.
I had 2 blockers.
Okay.
He had 2 creatures. I blocked both his creatures, and I died. And I was like, this is not something that should be happening in Standard. Like, you just shouldn't die from 18, you know?
Yeah, I think that's the true power of this deck. It can go in so many directions, right?
Yeah, it's actually it's one of the most impressive red decks that you'll probably see in a while in Standard, just because it has that incredible reach.
We take a look at Steven's board. He has 3 Foundries.
I mean,
now.
Surprisingly, he's made it this far. He has 6 mana now.
Sure.
Like, and as long as these guys don't get trample, that's okay.
Yeah. I think I saw Natarka's command in Aaron's hand, though. No Battle Rage.
Yeah, no Battle Rage yet, so that's good. Or no Becomements, so...
Looks like he does have a Wild Slasher, too, though. Like, we're going to see a lot of this burn going upstairs. Aaron going wide, I believe.
Yeah, if two Wild Slashers hit the face, he goes to 8,
Yep.
so, I mean, that's not that healthy when you're playing against this deck.
In fact, he
actually, if he goes just attack with everyone and a Tarkus command, he's taking 7 this turn. 2 from each goblin and then 3 from the Tarkus command.
Yeah.
So it puts him down to 5. 2 Wild Slashes put him down to 1. So he's at virtual 1 life at this point, because he can do all of that this turn.
And I'm pretty sure Aaron actually has another hasty creature in his hand.
That might be the game. This might be, yeah, I think this is game over if that's the case.
Yeah, it was either, it might have been a Zergo or another Lightning Berserker, but I'm pretty sure he did.
That is just a sad day.
Yeah, he does have a Lightning Berserker in his hand and an Irish Shaman, it looked like. I think he's just doing the math in his head here.
I had a friend that was an Irish Shaman once.
Oh yeah? What happened? Once?
He died.
Oh. Did he get value?
No. He lived an unfulfilling life. It was unfortunate.
All right. Aaron going to go ahead and dash, it looks like. He sees the line. Steven going to, of course, block one of the Lightning Berserkers. It doesn't matter which one.
It does not.
Tarka's command here. We can only assume it's going to be 3 damage and plus my creatures.
Yeah, you take 9, go to 3. And then he's like, oh, he's like, I don't even have to use these. I still had all these.
And that should actually be Exactsies.
That's Exactsies, yeah.
Sorry about that one.
And Steven extends the hand.
Man, that poor Jotty offshoot.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Look, he's like, do you see my hand of Ugin, Ulamog, Ulamog, Ugin, Ugin?
Aaron's going to take that match 2-0 versus Steven Propson. Tarka red over the green-white Eldrazi deck. Perfectly timed.
Yeah, if I could just ramp it.
Going to our original feature match. Andrew, it looked like he showed a hand of all lands.
That's a quality hand. Sometimes you just keep it.
No, well,
I'll just do it. I'm just gonna make it happen.
when you're on the play and you're down a game, I'm not sure if that's exactly the line that you want to take, but
I like to live dangerously.
sure. Fair enough. Looking at the sideboard, for Andrew, he has, so we talked about those Radiant Flames. He's got 2 Clerics. I don't know if he wants those. Virulent Plague could actually, no, not too interesting. I lied. Anything on Jordan's side?
Jordan has 2 Dispel. Do you bring those in this matchup?
Versus Dark, yeah, oh, absolutely, versus Dark Jeskai. I think they're great.
It counters the Ojutais commands. It counters Fiery Impulses.
Utter Ends, Crackling Dooms.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good then. Surge of Righteousness. Do we care about that?
So a lot of the times people bring in the Surge of Righteousness against...
It deals with Mantis Rider.
which is the huge problem, yes. But
it doesn't actually... Oh, that's interesting. It doesn't actually look like Andrew's running Mantis Rider.
he's not.
Interesting.
Yes.
He has 4 Soulfire Grandmasters. That's a lot.
Yeah.
4 Jace and 1 Monastery Mentor and 1 Dragon Master Outcast.
Like I said, his Dark Jeskai list is completely different
It's
from what
crazy.
we're used to.
He has 3 Painful Truths. That's actually a good amount.
He does like drawing cards, apparently.
I also like drawing cards. 2 Murderous Cuts. Your usual assortment of lands. The Wooded Foothills is still weird to me. I wonder if that'd be better suited as like a... Well, he has 4 Polluted Delta and 4 Bloodstained Mire already. Interesting.
Maybe he just didn't have a 4th Flooded Strand.
That might be... Yeah, he only has 3 Flooded Strands in the deck. Man, I always... That's my biggest pet peeve as a Magic player when someone does something for budget reasons, because when you're looking at it, you don't know that was a budget reason, so you're trying to analyze why they would have done that strategically.
Pretty normal start for both of these players here. Turn 2, Jace Vryn's Prodigy from Andrew, and Jordan Snap Silk Wraps it.
Yeah, that's probably the best feeling ever, just having the response for the Jace. As soon as that guy gets online, you're just like, oh, great.
Looks like Andrew passed his third turn without doing anything.
Andrew, what are you doing, buddy?
He did mulligan to 6, of course, but...
Oh, no, he mulliganed to 5.
Oh, wait, he did have 2 lands in his hand. Did he opt to go on the... Oh, maybe this is turn... Wait.
No, it doesn't make sense.
This is at least turn 3, right?
Yeah, because his mana's not tapped, so he would have played Jace on turn 2.
And then Jordan answered with Silk Wrap turn 2.
I don't understand. Why?
Well, we'll have to see.
Did he want to, like, make it seem like he didn't have a land to bait out something for Radiant Flames, maybe?
Possibly. Crackling Doom the hit there with the Transgress the Mind.
That's that's... I don't know what to make of that.
He might have been trying to make Jordan overcommit, I guess. You're right.
That's,
he does have
that's
that
the only
Radiant
thing I
Flames
could
in
think
his
of.
hand, yeah.
To try to be like, oh, he's mana scared, let me just throw all my guys. But
Sure.
I mean, Jordan's deck is a deck that actually has a lot of more expensive creatures, like 4 Archangel of Tides, 4 Wingmate Rocks. So, I mean, he's not just going to flood the board with 1/1s, you know?
Well, that and Andrew has a Dragon Master Outcast in his hand.
He was playing around Knight of the White Orchid.
Ah. That does make sense.
So, you just play a turn behind so that they don't get the value off Knight of the White Orchid. That makes total sense.
Of course, we even saw that in the previous
Yeah,
game.
I don't consider, like, God, putting myself a turn behind to just prevent them
Sure.
from getting extra land just seems real rough. Would you recommend that? Like, is that worth it?
I mean, I generally don't do that, but I haven't played versus Knight of the White Orchid very frequently, so maybe Andrew considers himself more of the control player here.
Oh, I think that would definitely be the case. Yeah, I would definitely consider Andrew the control and Jordan the beatdown here. But this actually works out for Jordan or for Andrew because there's no pressure on him right now.
Both these players just going land go, land go. Andrew not even running out his Dragon Master Outcast until probably a reasonable time when he can have that 6th land. Polluted deltas everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you look at Knight of the White Orchid as basically a rampant growth, like, would you decline to play a land so your opponent can't rampant growth? That seems like an interesting choice to me. I don't know if I would make that choice per se.
Well, the thing is, Knight of the White Orchid is still a creature, right? Jordan can still run it out as just a 2/2, even if he's not getting the value.
It's never going to be dead.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know. It could go either way, I think. I think you can definitely make an argument for doing it. I don't know if I personally would, but...
Archangel of Tithes, the play for Jordan there. Andrew didn't have a counter or anything else at end of turn to deal with that.
He has a Radiant Flames, but unfortunately you can never overpay for Radiant Flames. I always wish that the Converge cards had a clause that said you may pay more mana than the casting cost for Converge cards. Like, pay any number of mana for Exert Influence. You may pay more mana than the casting cost so that you can pay up to 5, like a Sunburst effect. But that might be too good.
I think that might be a little bit too powerful.
Radiant Flames for 5. But you can play it for 3 if you'd like.
Painful Truths for 8, you know.
Well, there's not 8 colors.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying.
You might as well.
What's that colorless? I don't know.
Yeah, you just pay.
I don't know where I'm going with that.
Just draw 6. Wastes in 5 colors.
All right. Jace looks like it was the draw for Andrew there since he had opted not to play the previous few turns.
That's a fine gentleman.
Yep.
I would prefer if this other Jace was a little more under that Silk Wrap because right now he seems like he's just trying to sneak away.
Sure. 3 mana for Jordan. Looks like he has that Wasteland Strangler. And remember, Transgress the Mind, 8 the Crackling Doom earlier.
Put it in the graveyard.
Oh, he's actually going to put Jace in the graveyard from the Silk Wrap.
That might be better because it prevents future Jace from having something to flashback, and it also, like, there's redundancy for Ojutai's command anyway.
Yeah.
You can already exile. You can also already return 1, so having the second one is not really an issue.
And Felidar Cub is a frequent sideboard card for the Dark Jeskai list, so.
Yes, and it
makes
also,
sense.
yeah, or even Utter End. So, like, if you want to Utter End the Silk Wrap now, you don't get any value.
Yep.
So I think that's 100% the correct play.
We'll see if Andrew can find something to deal with that Archangel, and even the Wasteland Strangler's a pretty quick clock.
Yeah, I did this. I was playing a deck in Modern the other day with Wasteland Strangler, and surprisingly enough, and there's matchups. I didn't realize it at first. It was like turn 3, I missed it, and then turn 4, I was like, wait a minute, you actually just play that guy out there on turn 3 just as a 3/2.
Sure.
Because he's just a beater.
Andrew's going to go ahead and just delve away his entire graveyard, including those Jaces,
Yeah,
draw 3 cards.
Treasure Cruise is still real good.
Yeah. I think I saw 2 Ojutai's commands in his hand now.
It's interesting seeing in the Dark Jeskai list because a lot of times they have a lot of delve cards already.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me suspect on how quickly he can fill his graveyard.
Remember, he's not running any of the Tassigers or anything
This
like
is
that,
two Murderous
though.
Cut, though.
That's true.
How many Treasure Cruise? 3 or 2?
2.
So 2 Treasure Cruise, 2 Murderous Cut.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's not too bad then. That's a decent. The only problem is then they conflict with returning a creature with Ojutai's command. So like, there's a lot of push and pull with the graveyard in this matchup.
Ooh, we see a scary card from Jordan's side, Obnixilis Reignited.
Yeah, that guy's a real deal.
Planeswalkers are generally a big pain for the Dark Jeskai
Yeah, I've
list.
definitely won a match or 2 with his ultimate, which is pretty sweet.
Sure. Looks like we see that Wooded Foothills, I believe.
I think Obnixilis is probably one of my favorite cards from Battle for Zendikar.
Why is that?
It's a cool design.
Yeah.
Like, it draws cards, kills creatures. Like, it's so simple. But it's like they're very, very powerful abilities. And a lot of times they come with like worse caveats, like draw a card, discard a card, or kill a non-black creature.
Sure.
So it's just like draw a card, take a life, or kill any creature you want.
I think I saw Fiery Impulse in addition to Radiant Flames in Andrew's hand. It looks like he might wipe the board here. That's going to be his play. He's going to have Fiery Impulse the Archangel of Tithes. Jordan only with a Sunken Hollow untapped here.
Yeah, this is looking not great for Andrew.
Yeah, Obnixilis on the battlefield is still going to be a huge problem.
It's very hard to deal with. I mean, Dragon Master Outcast, if... well, yeah, never mind then. I was going to say if Jordan doesn't have an answer, but it's sitting right there, so...
Also, I think I saw Jordan with a Silk Wrap in his hand in addition.
I think I would just probably Silk Wrap and plus Obnixilis, because we're getting real close to ultimate range.
Yep, that looks like exactly what he's going to do.
That's a pretty legitimate win condition.
Yeah, and he does have some Shambling Vents down there, I see, so... If he doesn't want to cast anything to play around some counters, he can always just bash in with
Yeah, you can
lands.
just activate Shambling Vents. He can do that right now.
Yep.
Put him to 5. Now he says, I'll play a second Planeswalker, which is a very respectable thing to do.
A Planeswalker that happens to produce creatures.
Oh, man.
Is Gideon good?
I think he's all right.
Okay,
I think he might see play in a deck or 2.
sure. Figure I might as well ask, because, you know, I mean, he's
mean,
on the fence for me.
You know,
He's
he'd be
just-
better if he cost 3. Come on.
Let's see what Andrew can do here to stabilize.
I think Andrew's got this. I think he's got it all locked up here, man. Wait, no. That's the opposite of
Hey,
accurate.
the Virulent Plague from the sideboard is actually going to
that's a
negate
thing.
the Gideon tokens, and Felidar Cub can get back the
Ooh.
Dragon Master.
Yeah, you can just do that EOT
Yeah.
so that you get actually a dragon. That was actually not a bad play, not a bad turn for Andrew. That makes this game less definitive. Well, he could always. Does he have any? Yeah, he's still got a ton of things in exile, especially
Yeah.
from Delve. So Jordan can kill the Felidar Cub, forcing the sacrifice, and then just Obnixilis the Dragon Master
Yep.
Outcast.
I think I saw a Wasteland Strangler in Jordan's hand, so
Yeah, there was definitely one sitting there. So I mean that's. Plus Gideon's not dead. Gideon just attacks.
does he have a Quarantine Field? Does Jordan have a Quarantine Field in his deck list?
He does have one.
Because I think I saw that in his hand as
It
well.
might be there. Yeah, he does have one quarantine filled in
Yeah.
his list. And one in the sideboard, so he might have brought that in. I don't think so. Doesn't seem great against this matchup, but yeah, I'm just going to attack you for 6 instead. I don't think Gideon has Vigilance, though. Because that doesn't really matter.
No,
when
but-
you're Planeswalker.
Truth. So it looks like he's going to go ahead and block the Gideon, sacrifice it before damage.
So he can't cast Wasteland Strangler here, so he's just going to have to, unless he has a land.
He does have a Shambling Vent in his hand, but
Yeah, so he's probably just going to Obnixilis kill the Dragon Master Outcast. There's no way you let your opponent get 5/5s. Unless, you know, you're a big fan of dragons and you just want to see them on the other side of the board.
sure.
I mean, you know, that person could exist.
Yeah, Jordan a huge favorite here.
Oh, he could just play an untapped land. Yeah, I think he's just going to go for Wasteland Strangler.
Windswept Heath is going to fetch that Plains.
Yeah,
3 mana untapped.
I like putting another counter on Obnixilis because then he's literally in ultimate range, so you have multiple win conditions. I think this game is over, and I'm excited to see this black-white deck win, though I feel bad for Andrew. Andrew's a good buddy.
Of course, we have 7 rounds today, and is it
Oh yeah,
5 and
this
2?
is- yeah, you can't
5 and 2 to make it to day 2.
can't really be discouraged about
Mhm.
a round 2 loss. Yep, that is
And
the
Andrew's going to extend his hand. Jordan's going to take that match 2-0 versus
weird 2-man lands. A 3/2 and 2 planeswalkers was enough to do it, I guess.
Orzhov mid-range.
Not something you see every day.
Yeah.